Having a bit of a boogie there. Hello all and welcome to the Toon Review Wor Lasses Show with me, Lady Sam, and the incomparable ex-England player Aaron Embleton. As ever, hit the like button nice and early for us, please. We want to support the rise of the Newcastle United Women's team. Please do interact with us and each other in the chat. Your super chats are guaranteed to be read out live on the show, and do also support the channel because Paul will go mad with me if I get to say it. Subscribe, hit the notification bell for all your TTR content, and a quick thank you if you did tune in last week and you're a returning viewer. If you're new, buckle up. Aaron, how are you?
I'm good, Sam. How's things with you?
Yeah, we've got a lot to get through tonight. A lot.
We have. Season's kicked off, second games. Some of the second games have been played, and it's all go, go, go. So, yeah.
It is indeed. It is indeed. And for all you as well, Aaron's email and website is also in the description of the show tonight to get in touch about coaching and appearances because she's a huge deal. Now, in terms of what we are doing this evening, we do have a special show planned for you tonight. This is a new league. We wanted to bring you some context, some background. We've done some recon on who the lasses are going to be up against this season, in case you don't know. So tonight we are going to be reviewing the season's competition. We're going to be looking at the teams we're going to be facing, where they placed last year, and also the opposition players that we need to watch out for if you're either watching on the live YouTube stream or you're going to be there live at Kingston Park or at the away matches with our amazing fan base. And then we've got a super special guest coming on later. So I need to say, you need to stay tuned for that later. It's a surprise. We're not going to tell you because I need to keep you on the hook for it. And where's the fun if I tell you? So please stay with us for that. So Aaron, let's get started. It's a new season, brand new league.
It
is. A lot to get through tonight. And we've got ourselves newly promoted. We've also got Portsmouth as well. We've got Reading, who withdrew from the league. And I think we should probably talk about this point first because, they were one of the teams who were up for relegation. However, they've sadly had to withdraw anyway due to financial reasons. So it's a bit of a sad close for them, given the situation for women's football, right?
It is, yeah. And I hate to say it, And over the years, I've seen so many teams come to this point where financially they didn't have a backing of a bigger club. And, traveling takes a lot of the budget up. It really does. I mean, you're talking, I don't know now, but back then it was £600-700 for the coach down from Newcastle to London. And sustaining that every week, you need obviously a lot of firepower in the bank. And now even more so than enough. So it is really, really sad. And we, teams in the northeast. I mean, Sunderland, which were Cowgate Kestrels before, went through 3 takeovers, and we nearly folded twice within that time, which are now Sunderland Women, and they wouldn't be in the league if it wasn't for them parents in the background, ringing local companies up asking for sponsorship. And sadly, Reading's been one of those that couldn't find anything to pull them out,
Yeah, and it's super sad times for them. And obviously they were in the battle anyway. They were sort of at the lower end of the table last season for them. So it's just not the way to go out. It's really unfortunate for them. It sucks given the state of play. So best of luck, and I hope the lasses find some great teams to move on to.
100%.
In regards to who got promoted to the Women's Super League, hopefully that's going to be us soon, but that was Crystal Palace, who finished top of the table. But interestingly enough, it was really close. There wasn't a great deal in it. There was 10 points between top and 5th. So, Aaron, what does that kind of tell you about how competitive this league is?
I've said it time and time again, and people have asked me opinions. I hear people ask us every day, and the likes of Sunderland, you've seen the kind of start they've had. Like last season, I think they came in 3rd, and they were there or thereabouts for majority of the season. It was between them and Palace. It was kind of up and down. There was, I think, at one point there was only a point in it for promotion. This season they haven't had the best of starts. I think they're sitting on 0 points. Really, really struggling. But yeah, it's looking a lot different. A lot different.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting one because the table last season's. I mean, it's early days, but we're already seeing a huge shake up. Somebody's just asked in the chat there what's happening with Durham at the minute. A lot of the teams, like Aaron's just said, have already played 2 matches. I think it's us, Blackburn Rovers, who've only played 1 so far, but Durham are actually top of the table right now.
Yeah,
6 points that they've got currently, and then probably one of last season's top contenders, Charlton Athletic, are currently in second as well. So I'm going to probably get straight into talking about Charlton Athletic because it was a nice little segue, that wasn't it? So they just missed out on promotion. Rightly said, Aaron, 1 point. That must be devastating. So very, very little in it. And they won 13 of the 22 matches that they played. They've also strengthened this season. They've got an ex-Tottenham player, ex-West Ham player as well. They've also got the same manager. Now, we'll talk about this as we go through the different teams, but a lot of the teams have actually changed leadership and their head coaches this year. So they look like they're going to be probably our toughest opponents. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they've got a quality player came in from Spurs. She's going for the golden boot at the minute. She's on 3 goals. She's got the most in the league, and that's Ellie Brazil. Really, really skillful. Looking very, very dangerous. But Charlton for years have been a force. Like they win the WSL when I played. It was Charlton, Arsenal, Doncaster Bells, and they went down. But they've always been there or thereabouts, and they've been pushing and pushing. But yeah, no, I mean, last season, obviously they came in second. They'll be pushing, they'll be wanting promotion. And like I say, with Ellie scoring the way she is, we need to be very careful with that.
And it's definitely one to watch as well. And I think the sort of next contenders, which we're probably going to spend a little bit more time on, finished 3rd, Sunderland.
Yeah.
Sunderland finished 3rd in the league. This is familiar territory for them, but it was very cramped at the top of the table. So it's an interesting one. Now, the blow for them was that Claudia Moan left them, came to Newcastle United Women's team, which was amazing, but she was the Golden Glove winner of the league. Like, how is that going to impact them not having the person which has undoubtedly helped them keep their position and get as high in the table?
Oh, Sam, massively, like massively.
That's what I want to hear. Keep saying
it. Music to your ears, I've watched an interview with Melry, who's their current manager, and like she said, they're giving away points here and back against the wall, and they've really struggled in the first 2 games, which they have. They got hammered the first game 5-0. But I watched some of the highlights of the game, and the keeper, they've got a keeper in there called Lambourne, and I mean, she was chipped twice from 35 yards out. The first goal and I think the 3rd goal in the last game against Southampton. And don't get us wrong, I'm taking nothing away from Southampton. The goals, one, the player cut inside, and I think it was Dean, and she absolutely smacked this ball and curled it over the top. But the second one, again, she noticed her off a line again. And that was even further out, and it was about, like I say, that one's about 35, and she hit it, and it just looped over. And I'm looking and I'm thinking, a starting position, lack of experience, clearly, and she's just been far too far up the pitch, and they won the ball in centre midfield and just lifted the head. They'd already done it in the first goal. And she just hit it again, went straight over the top of her. And I thought, she'll come away from that game, don't get me wrong, and analyse it and realise, like, look at my starting position as a keeper. Feet, I need to be further back. But yeah, they were caught twice, and yeah, you could see us obviously now we've got the keeper we have. yeah, I think they're going to struggle, and it's not that they're going to struggle; they are struggling. The league shows that they've
Say
gone
it how
from
it is.
top
Aaron, say
to
what you
bottom.
really feel.
And I'm sure Mel won't like me saying this because we go back
Lol.
a long way, but it's it's the truth. Like, they're struggling, and players have seen, obviously, us as, you know in the transfer market. Obviously, then players have come across, and it's like, they want to be with Newcastle. It's a big project. The money's piling in. Sunderland, don't get me wrong, obviously in a much lower league, in the males team, which hence there's not as much revenue coming in, and that's causing a massive problem because it obviously filters down to the women of how much money they get. So until, unfortunately, Sunderland men do better, the women can then pile more money in, but they are struggling right now, and I've seen a totally different Sunderland side that I watched last season to what I'm seeing now. They are struggling, and they're going to struggle this season.
That surely can't be down to one player. Or is that team cohesion? Is it a bad start? Like,
It can
what
be
is
down
it?
to I just see, like, and I don't know. I'm just seeing from, like, everybody else, but I feel like they've had a bad start with a 5-0 defeat, which is never good for any team at the start of the season. And for that reason, mentally, it affects the players. Is their morale? The morale must be really down. And football wise, like I say, then not being a cut above what they were like last season, and losing your star goalkeeper, player of the league player of the year. Like, you've got the best goalkeeper in that league, and 2 goals were conceded, on Sunday, and it was. I kind of say it all that you kind of just blame the keeper for everything, because the keeper makes a mistake in football. It's in the back of the net and it's 1-0. If a defender or a midfielder makes a mistake, you can claw that back with a challenge. But at a starting position, yeah, she shouldn't. Yeah, she'll look at that and think, I could have done better. And I think that could have cost them the game.
And I do like that you just had to get in there, until Sunderland men start doing better, we can't put any money into the women.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
well, let's not hold our breath, shall we
yeah,
not?
yeah. Just
Of course,
the
we want to
Magnums.
see
The
all the lasses
Magnums
doing
are
well, but
struggling. They're struggling.
indeed. I tell you what, we've got an interesting question here actually from Yvonne. Would we be able to pick up some Reading women players on freebies if they're now out of contract? How does it work? This is obviously Yvonne looking to capitalise on their sadness.
Yeah, yeah. Theoretically, yes. There's no reason when a team folds in a league, as sad as it is, then the players obviously, if depend on ability, they can go to other teams. So other teams can approach them. And I don't even think the rules used to be you had to put like a 7 days notice of approach into the FA to approach a player to have a conversation with them. I that that would all be out the window, I would have thought, because obviously there's no team. So yeah, they're kind of free agents, and it's up to the teams, but you've got to obviously also consider it's not the fact of just going, yeah, we'll have this one, this one, this one. You've got wages to pay, and all teams have got budgets, so it all depends on what they've already spent. Newcastle's obviously gone out there, and we've spent a lot of money because we've brought a lot through the door. And so are some other teams. I think Birmingham's brought in 6, 9 players, the same as us, a lot. So you've got to look at that, and that's what the teams will. Don't get us wrong. As soon as you see an opportunity and you think, there's some talented players and played at that level, let's have a look at them. But it'll go down to money. It'll go down to money.
Yeah, always down to the coin. But 2 players to watch out for if when we do get those derby days. Oh, cannot wait for those. Emily Scott, very highly rated, and they have also just signed an Everton player as well, which is Eleanor Dale. So do keep an eye out for those 2. Those are people that could potentially hurt us this season. But hey, we got your goalie. Bad times. Never mind.
Eleanor Dale, just to mention, Eleanor Dale, you're quite right, Sam. Like, she is one to watch. She was in England the 17s, so she's up and coming. She's only 22-year-old, so she's still really a bairn if you think about it, and kind of sort of settling at her level. But yeah, very much true. Like we'll see how the season pans out. But my opinion, they're going to struggle.
Yay! I'm thrilled.
I love that. Yay!
Yay! Yeah. We've then got Southampton in fourth. Again, only 7 points behind the top spot here. So really, I know we always say like every game matters. Every game's a big game, but it, like we're trying to sort of get across here that like how competitive this is actually going to be.
Yeah.
But for me, Aaron, I want your opinion on this. They've got a new head coach as well. Their former was actually put into a different role, which is a bit more, I think, broader at the club. They've had a decent transfer window. They've got players from Aston Villa, from Leicester City as well this season. But this is a bit of a running theme for the next couple of clubs here. Replacing your coach. Could that be a good thing? We've sort of seen it before in the past where the injection of a new head coach is great. It revitalizes it, reigns in a new era. But how is it going to be?
It's always bringing in a new coach changes everything, and there's been quite a few. I mean, Durham there's been a handful in the league already doing this at the start of the season. So they've kind of, for James Lally, who's the manager of Southampton, he's come from Swindon Town, and they've won one, drawn one, I think, so far. Against Sunderland, like I was saying, I thought that possessional play was really good. A lot better than, unfortunately, what we've been playing lately. Not being able to hold the ball up in the middle, but they were great when I watched them against Sunderland. Had a lot of the possession. They finished well, so they were clinically the midfield and the forwards, when they had their chances, they finished really well. And no, overall, I was pretty impressed with them. I was really impressed with them. So I think, manager's point of view, you come in, you've got a set of new players, you've got to get to know your people, and to get them to perform. And so far, so good. He seems to be doing well.
Well, he's oh gosh, on YouTube, Ray. So this is just about where can we view the games. This is a bit of an interesting one actually, because the Barclays Championship YouTube channel, it's not playing all of the games. Now we were obviously used to seeing it on Newcastle TV, so just be mindful that they're not all of them. Best way, get your season ticket, get yourselves down there. Peter's got a really good question here. Do you think the players we have brought in will get us to the Women's Super League?
Do I think that they'll get? I would love to hope so. Do I think?
No, politicians answer. Politicians answer incoming.
Sam.
Yeah, I'll call you out.
No, there's my answer. No, and the reason I say that is there's a lot of experienced players in. I think they'll get near the top. In the top 4. Do I think they're strong enough to get promoted yet? No, and that's purely down to a lot of the players we've brought in are coming to the end of their careers. They'll pass a lot on to the youngsters, and even the midfielders, and a little bit more experience. Even the likes of Body, she's still very young, but she seems like she's played there for years. They'll learn a lot. I just think when next season there'll be more players to come in, 100% to strengthen again. But obviously, I think that maybe, I don't know if they'll go for a younger generation. Right now, not for me. Not right now. I think it's too early. And I know, we've had back-to-back promotions, and no taking it away from the girls, are absolutely outstanding. We thrashed teams last season, one after the other. It was like, who was going to beat where we were the team out there. But again, it takes years and years sometimes for teams to get promoted. We've got the firepower, we've got the bank rolling. We will get there, but too early for a go straight. I'll be very shocked if we go into this league and win it.
Well, there you have it, everybody. Let's just all pack up now.
Aaron on a pedestal.
I know, get off there. I can't hear you from up there in your high horse, Aaron, with the England cap and shirt in the background. Anyway, Michael McIntyre What?
You've got to. The thing is, right? You've got to be
Here's the thing.
realistic. You've got to be realistic, right? And I'm all for saying, yeah, we're
Mhm.
going to win everything. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Which, everyone wants to do that. When you're a player, that's all you've got in sight of winning the league and moving straight up. But from a person from the outside looking in, like, I'm just telling everyone to be realistic.
Whereas I'm going to do the opposite and put a bet
Yeah.
on us to win the league.
Yeah, and you will as well. I know you will.
Yeah, I know it. Michael McIntyre, thank you very much. I believe Michael is asking if we have Alice on tonight. Toon. No, we do not, but still stay tuned. I know we've got loads of chats coming in tonight, so thank you everybody for interacting with us. A lot of lasses on this show could teach some of the men's team how to cross a bar. Aaron, yes, absolutely.
Maybe not now.
Of course you could, Mike. Of course you could. We've also got the rest of the teams to start going through. So we're now reaching the point where we're getting to mid of the table. So we've got Birmingham City came in 5th again. New manager. So Darren Carter exited the team last year. They actually went on a bit of a late run of form, but really got heavily criticised throughout the season, even by their own fans. I was reading on a couple of fan forums, doing some research for this show. Really up and down inconsistencies. But they do have, again, another new manager. Now, Amy Merricks is actually a coach from Brighton. So that's a big deal. So what can you expect from that type of tier when she's coming in here as the head coach?
She's got a wealth of experience. She knows her stuff. She knows the level of football. She's worked alongside technical director who used to manage me at England, Hope Powell, at Brighton. So yeah, she knows her stuff. She'll do her homework. She'll know the formations of other teams, and she will be ready. So yeah, really good appointment that. And I'll be interested to see how they get on this season compared to last.
And look at Steve in the same camp with you. Love the honesty. Not having that, Steve. How are I want some unhealthy optimism. That's what I'm here for. Right, okay, then on to Blackburn Rovers. They ended 6th in the table, so deemed to be a little bit of a threat to the top 4, but that's the highest ever finish that they've got. So they're probably looking to actually better that place this season. They do have some key players as well. Lucy Shepherd actually left this summer, but Rachel Dugdale, I think it is, has come in and she's like pretty much the one to watch this season. Blackburn Rovers currently 8th in this season's table, but like us, the only other team in that table who've only played 1 game so far. So what's the synopsis on that?
Blackburn, I wouldn't say struggle, but they didn't do particularly well last season. I think they hemorrhaged goals, which was a massive problem. They've brought Dugdale in to play at the back, so she's strong. They've lost one of their force to be reckoned with. That's gone to the USA, which is sad to see. But yeah, I mean, we'll see again. We'll see how they're getting on. I think they're in 8th place at the minute. So I think with the strength coming in at the back with Dugdale, I think it's going to tighten things up, and maybe they won't concede as many goals as what they were leaking last season. They won the highest for conceding, so that shows.
How do you transition though? Like without your star player, like who all the fans would have been there for, like how what's that transition going to be like after losing them? Trying to kick on, you've lost them.
It's hard. It's hard to change morale within the team when you lose, a top player who, is being, there for you, that is, digging deep within the team, that's passionate, that's the ones that get you out of they create that bit of magic when a game's 0-0 and you lose them and they go elsewhere. It is soul destroying, of course it is. But ultimately you've got to pull, the manager's got to pull the team together, get the morale back, and you bring players in. They've brought the odd one in here and then, hopefully now, which was the main issue, was the back line. You've got to see, the stats speak volumes, and the stats tell you they were leaking a lot of goals, so that the defence was an issue, and they brought Doug Dale in, so hopefully she'll tighten things up and it may well work much better as a unit moving forward.
Yeah, okay, so here's the next one. Sheffield United. Ringing any bells, anybody? Yes, it's our next match. So they finished last season 7th place, but again, they have a new manager in as well. Extremely highly rated manager as well, but they have hemorrhaged players from their last season as well. They've lost 5 in total. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how this one's going to play out. It's our
Mm-hmm.
next match. They're currently in 9th, so we are 2 places above them and we have 1 game in hand, Aaron. So what can we probably expect to see from them, given the fact they've lost so many players?
I think that they are going to be really up against us. The team that the players we've brought in, the strength and the depth we've got on the bench, is just unreal for this sort of level. And I think because they haven't had the best of starts, I'd say us. I'm going to go with a prediction for Sunday.
Oh, hold on. Blooming prediction.
Yeah, of course, a prediction. Come on.
Well, go on.
I'm going to do mine and then you're going to do yours.
Oh, yeah,
I would say I'm going to go 3-0 to us. And I'm going to go Hales with maybe 2. And I want to say Body from a goal from outside the box. There you go. I've even gone that extra mile, Sam, and I've give you how it's going to be scored.
You really have. Jeez, please, everybody. Oh, we've got Wonder Woman already giving it. Right, okay, we're going like 2-0 to us. I don't know.
Yeah. Honestly, I do. I think we'll dictate the game. I think Becky will have looked in depth at the last game, and the possessional play was really bad, and I think they'll have worked on that massively in training with phases of play, keeping the ball, pass and go, and using the wings what we had all the success last season with that we just didn't use at all in that game. So I feel like they're going to come out the blocks ready, and I think, like I say, 3-0.
You're saying that I wasn't overwhelmed with confidence from last week's performance. So I'm gonna go 2-1, and I am gonna say Hales, because she was just like, yeah, Hales. And I am also gonna go Katie Barker.
Okay.
Look at her, just look at her judging. Like,
I am.
whatever.
Of course, while I'm sitting here, yeah, okay.
Right, opinion tastic. Right, okay. Thank you, Ray, for your 99p super sticker. Really appreciate that, my friend. So we've had some score predictions in. Now it is time to move on to the London City Lionesses. You may remember we played those on our last match. They finished last season in 8th place. Now they've been bought, as we have. Huge investment. If you were watching on the YouTube channel, you'd have seen their owner. They're really proud, invested in the ground, invested in players as well. They've got a new head coach, ex Paris Saint-Germain. Warning shots fired. And then they have a lasagna as well, which is crazy. So who scored the goal? So I think they're going to do really well this season. I think they're going to be one to watch. Currently mid-table after 2 games.
Yeah. I totally agree. As Lani's come in and she scored, and you've seen the quality against us. She's very clinical in front of goal. She's been on a world stage and being one of the best players in the world in that time, and she's now kind of stepping down the ranks and passing on her experience to the younger generation. Yeah, I think they matched us. I've got to give them that. They did match us, but we didn't play well. And I think having been on a different day, Sam, if we had been playing the football we normally play, we would have won that game quite easily. I think maybe 2-0. But we were all over the place. We hadn't gelled. It's still very much fresh. I think they will end mid-table. I don't think they'll be in the top four. I could be wrong again, but they're a mid-table sort of ability from what I've seen. And time will only tell. They've got their star player, and she will get them goals, and she basically pulled them out for a draw in the end. But I think a mid-table would be pretty much right for them right now.
I guess so. I think I'm kind of wondering, was it sort of like early season jitters that we saw last week? That's what I'm hoping for. And Trev, would we take Miggy? Would we shite? Absolutely not.
No, definitely not.
No,
Miggy needs to learn to use his right foot.
I know. Do you know what I do like about Miggy? Like the utter joy that he brings. I mean, it's like hilarity. Like he does run like a chicken. Like this.
Literally, and he runs with his little bobbing around, doesn't he? Literally.
Yeah, he's like one of those little, the head bobber things, like on someone's dash. Anyway, please forgive it. Trev, I'm blaming you for that. You've totally put us off. Anyway, next team, we've got Durham. Finished 9th last season. Again, one of our derby teams that we get to face. Little in terms of new signings, actually. So I thought that they would have said, right, let's absolutely go for it. Let's get some fresh blood through the door. But no, we haven't seen that at all for this season, which is quite surprising. So really low finish, I would say. And then right now, they're at the top of the table. 2 games played. I know it's early days, but they've taken all 6 points from those.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, top of the table. I seen one of the goals. Well, I've seen all the goals, but one of the goals I did see from Hannah Blake, she absolutely smacked this ball first time. So it was a pass across outside the box, and she hit it first time straight in the bottom corner. It was a class goal from them. But what I did see, Sam, was
what was that?
Portsmouth managed to. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, they've just come up with like us, and I mean, Durham did have a lot of the possession. They've got a lot of the experience in the team, and they've played at this level for quite a long time now. But the defence, I found Portsmouth got in behind the defence on many occasions, and that was just with triangle play. They were like 1-2s with the midfield forwards, and I've seen them a few times do 1 or 2, like 2 touches between each other, a small phase of play, and it seemed to be the right-hand corner. So I think, the left back for Durham is maybe the weaker area, and most teams will look to exploit it after what I watched. And, they nipped into the corner of the box twice and got shots in. So there's weakness there. Although they're top of the table, it's very early doors. And, they've won both games, but I've still seen some weakness there at the back that can be exploited. So we'll see.
Good. We've got another. I didn't know about this, but Sophia Jacobson going to be lethal. Another Swedish player, international for the Lionesses as well. I mean, they're going for it with this new ownership. I believe they've also upgraded their grounds as well, and their training facilities. So like, they are contenders, and I think I think they're probably they're quite similar to us in terms of.
They are.
Yeah.
They've got the project, they've got the money now, and I can see where it's going right now on like I say, I've only watched them a couple of games, and I'm saying mid-table, but only time will tell when players start to settle in, and the ball game changes after about 4 games, I would say. So I'm giving this opinion now. We're looking at it like this, but it can all change very fast once the settling period comes in, and people are used to the level of playing, and players coming down from the WSL again, they're at a higher level and they're coming down to a lower league, and the players that are currently playing in that league, they've then got to play against better standard players again. So yeah, we'll say you might be right, and I'm thinking most people.
You could be right, Sam.
You could be right, Sam.
You could be. But it's unlikely.
No, I think no, definitely not. I think there's a potential you could be right, but from this is just my first, observation from what I've seen within 2 games, and like I say, that will change as the season goes on, as players become more confident, and they gain a bit of all it is. It's purely down to confidence and their teammates around them and the gelling and how they're going to play in the season. Formation, the managers changed their formation at the start of the season. And then they tend to stick with one, apart from the odd game if they think there's something that can combat that opposition better than normal. But generally, once they find that, they've got their little niche. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, we'll see.
Oh. Well, I think for me, I am still going to be vomit-inducingly optimistic. I'm still going to think that we're going to do something special. I think just because of everything that I just want the fairy tale. Is that too much?
No,
is that
it's
too
not.
much for
It's
me to
not.
ask? The triple promotion. I
I
don't
would.
think it
Oh
is.
my God, that would honestly, it would be
Imagine.
absolutely amazing if.
Wouldn't it?
100%. Like I would love nothing more than them lasses going in there, it all coming together and they're going out and they're winning games, even if it's 1-0, because like it's going to be small margins. We know that. Whether it's
Yeah.
1-0, 2-1, and get to the end of the season and what promotion, which is what everyone wants. But if it doesn't happen, it's not a disappointment in my eyes because like I know how long that takes and I know how it can
Part of the
progress.
journey.
Yeah, it is. It's part of the journey. Yeah, absolutely.
All right then. Well, I tell you what, big shout out to Kieran who's gifted 5 Toon Review memberships. So nice one, Kieran. Thank you so much. That's really, really generous. And if you did get one of those memberships, please hit up and say thank you. Really, really interesting in terms of where the players are, where Becky is this season. I think we've had a decent start given that we're obviously changing up. We're obviously facing new and different opponents that we're not used to as well. And everybody seems to be changing around us. Now, we ended on Durham there in 9th because as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, Reading was obviously 10th and sadly had to withdraw. Newly promoted Portsmouth. Now, this is an interesting one for me because just like us last season, they're now stepping up to full time. So they've just come up here on the back of that success, absolutely buzzing. And now they're being paid full time to do what they love. Is this going to be like a big step up for them? Is it that they're going to go into this training schedule? Is that going to put them off? Is it going to be better for them? Are we not going to see the fruits of that labour till mid-season?
Yeah. I mean, take me back to my day. Let me play again, please. Sam.
I don't think we've got time for that, babe.
Yeah, I think newly, again, a bit like us, newly promoted. Obviously we just stole Best of Lumsden just not long before the end of the season, didn't we? They've got a class player. I think she was under 19s England, which is Sophie Quirk. I don't know if anyone's had a chance to see her. She's outstanding. She plays either the left or she'll play just behind the front two. And she is quick. She scored a lot of goals last season. She's a one to watch for the future as well. And when we come up against her, we're going to have someone to mark her. But yeah, it's a challenge again. It's the same similar setup is to us. And at the minute, they're struggling at the bottom, but then we've only played 2 games again, and you tend to find that it's the same with any football league, not just women, men's, everything. The teams that come up, the very odd occasion you'll get those newly promoted sides, end up in the top half, which that is exceptional for newly promoted sides, like them to end in the top half of the table of the league above. And I hope they start to pick up as the season goes on. But I do think that, again, they don't have as much strength as us. And I think they're going to end up at the bottom end of the table. And that's purely down. They don't have the depth of coming off the bench either. So they'll get fitter. The training, obviously, is every day. They've got a lot going on. Again, it's a full project. And They've got to build that, and this is very new to them. New, obviously, for us, we had that last season. We had time all to bed in and get used to the whole training regime. What the daily and every day looks different because you've got an itinerary. Each player obviously getting used to the fact they're professional. All that thrown in the mix, and them in a new league again, I think is too much in one season for a team. I wouldn't expect them to be above halfway.
Yeah, neither would I. And they've had a shite start as well. I'm just going to say it.
I was going to tell you, people lunch, Sam.
Absolutely shocking.
Yeah,
yeah, it's been rubbish. Everybody who doesn't know, they lost 3-0 to Durham. Yes, they're currently at the top of the table. 3-0 to Charlton Athletic as well. I mean, they were top last season, but still, it's not a great start. So, sorry, but I think that we're going to be taking we're going to be taking some kudos for like the new lasses in town, and we are here home, which I'm super excited about. We do have a super chat in. Fiver, thank you very much, Seaside Tony. I love Sam's hope of winning something, but I am with Aaron. This is a build.
Seaside Tony.
Roar up, man. No, not at all. Let's be horribly positive. Look at this. Yes, say it how it is.
Yes, Lady Sam, yeah. You do, Sam, you do.
Well, I tell you what, I think we've kept everybody in suspense long enough, and we're going to bring on our surprise guest for this evening, which I am very excited about. Somebody that I think both me and Aaron are really excited to talk to this evening, and I hope that you'll get some, comments going in the chat. Let's get some conversation about this as well. So we're going to bring on our guest, Jamie Eastlake. Hey, Jamie, how you doing?
All good. How are we both?
Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Well, I tell you what, everybody, I need to give Jamie an introduction here. So we're really honoured to have Jamie on, the writer of the stage adaptation of Purely Belter at the Theatre Royal, Jerry and Swell, and Olivia Award winner as well, which is absolutely unbelievable. So Jamie, thanks for gracing us with your presence.
No, this is an absolute pleasure, a total pleasure. Great.
I love it, mate. I absolutely love it. So, I mean, this is like a classic. Obviously, some of us will remember it from the original book. Some of it will remember it from the film. Obviously, Purely Belter. You've done the adaptation on it. It was originally based on, was it Jonathan Tulloch's novel? I might be saying that wrong. The Season Ticket. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. Which then became, I think Jonathan wrote it in 1999, and then it became the famous film Purely Belter in 2000. So it's 25 years old, basically.
Oh God, I've just had that feeling. Like, Aaron, do you feel old?
I know.
Aaron's old anyway, but yeah, it's now. Tell us, I'm really interested about this, Jamie. So, what can we expect from the stage show?
More of the same of what the film and the book is. I mean, most Newcastle fans know the sort of story of Purely Belter, and they know it's about two sort of reprobates from Gateshead who will stop at nothing to get a pair of season tickets for Newcastle United. And they come across various ridiculous characters along the way. They end up they stole Alan Shearer's car in the film, and Alan made a bit of a cameo in the film, but they steal another figure this time. And we've set it a few years ago, just before the takeover. So a certain Mr. Ashley might even appear in it as well. So I'm waiting for the cease and desist orders from Sports Direct.
Bring it.
It's a story of hope. It's a story of chasing a dream. It's just like the lasses at the minute, isn't it? It's like, it's that thing of if you have momentum, you can do anything in life. I think that's what it's about.
Isn't that like a Geordie mentality though? It's just what we do.
Yeah, it is.
Anything for football, anything for the badge, and it's such an amazing story. The characters are just quintessentially like northeast through and through, which is absolutely great. But it's really funny and really elegant at the same time. It just tells that whole narrative about how desperate we all are to get to the matches. I don't have a season ticket for the men's games either.
It's mad. It is. It's mad, and that was the case 25 years ago, and it's the case now, isn't it? It's like, yeah, people just can't get tickets in different ways, whether that be financial, whether that be we need a new stadium. We'll probably not get on that debate, but yeah, it's just it's what life is on Tyneside, and it's also about like our voices, us as people from the northeast, being on a major stage, a major theatrical stage, a film about us. These things don't happen. Our stories aren't told. Our stories are never told. It's always about the Cockneys. It's always set in New York. It's never about us Geordies, and I think it's time for that to change. It feels like the northeast and Newcastle in particular is at the start of a wave with the music, with its two football teams, with its DJ scene, and I think it's just a perfect time to be part of that.
And Jamie, I see that you've got quite a few big profiled cast members. Just to tell some of the viewers who those are.
Yeah, so we've got Michelle Heaton, who was in Liberty X. Michelle's playing Jerry's mum, Mrs. McCartan. That was played by Charlie Hardwick in the film. A lot of people know Charlie from like Emmerdale, but yeah, Michelle is doing her Theatre Royal stage debut, and there will be some singing as well for any Liberty X fans out there. And then we have Bill Ward. Bill is known to most for Emmerdale and East End, and Corrie, sorry. He's actually the only actor who's had speaking roles in Emmerdale, Corrie, and EastEnders, but he's always the sort of shit bag in storylines.
I love it.
Fits the profile, does he?
Yeah, he really fits the profile of the character he's playing in this. He's very famous. I think it was Tracy Barlow killed him with a statuette about 20 years ago in Corrie. I think that was a big famous scene.
And date-wise, I mean, I know you're on at the Theatre Royal. What sort of dates is it we're looking at in October?
So it opens on the 2nd of October. It's on for a week there. And then the plan is to tour it and to try and get it into the West End in London and to fly the black and white flag high as far as we can go with it, because as I said, it's important to have our voices on national stages, and we don't hear our accent enough. So I think the story of Jerry and Sewell is a story that can translate, because it's quintessentially about chasing dreams.
No, that's
Hey, then I've got a question for you, Jamie. So you spoke there about how important that sort of like amplifying the voices of the Northeast are, and that obviously resonates with me. But did you feel a bit of pressure actually doing the stage writing for this? Because it obviously means a lot to you.
It's iconic, isn't it? Like the people shout the famous lines from the film at me all the time. It's like, how do you modernize it, and how do you represent sort of the apathy of what Newcastle United has been for 15 years before the takeover, and what the country's been like? And it was sort of, yeah, there's a pressure on that, but then there's the pressure on getting it right because it is so iconic. I mean, Alan Shearer had a cameo in a film. It's like it's and everything's a pound, and all of these famous characters and lines are, yeah. So there's a lot of pressure on it, and now it's at a wider audience with the Theatre Royal. It's mega. It's slightly terrifying and thrilling at the same time.
No, I think it's absolutely brilliant, and I say that you've got war flags involved as well. Is that right?
Yeah, war flags do displays at the start of the show. So we've got 1,000 flags in the Theatre Royal, which is
wow.
mad. Yeah, it's really amazing. The club have been really good with us as well. Darren Eales has been really supportive of it, and a lot of the team at Newcastle have been really great with it as well. They're really on board, which is great seeing them like go into the community and actually like physically support people, which is amazing. Yeah, there's lots of Newcastle United connections with it, not just the storyline.
Have you had to like, build on that network with the club then for the recent show, like, and if so, how do you go about doing that?
Yeah, that's really
like the impossible feat to get in the fortress.
It feels the impossible task. It was through getting friendly with journalists, I think, and journalists who have sort of connections to the club. I think Darren, so we did a run of this show at Live Theatre on the Quayside, and George Colkin brought Darren to see it, and sort of it went from there. And I've been trying to I went to school with Dan Byrne as well, and Dan Dan was in my first ever theatre company, which I don't think is a fact that we've ever put out anywhere.
I'm sorry. We need to stop
Yeah.
there. Elaborate, please.
Yeah, I've got a program on a wall in a room just past me, which Dan. I had a theatre company at school, and Dan Byrne used to act in it with us.
Wow.
Yeah, really bizarre. He famously played Darth Sidious in our very famous adaptation of that at Wensleydale Middle School of Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith.
He was the biggest there.
It's really bizarre.
I love the turn that this has taken now. That's just that I did
this is not
expect to hear that.
To take as well, but yeah, there we are. Sorry, Dan.
So you did it at the Live Theatre. For those who don't know, a fantastic theatre company on the Quayside. Absolutely brilliant local productions that get there. Obviously, Darren Eales has come along. You've got to meet him as well. Tell him a bit about the show. Is he going to be coming to see it at the Theatre Royal as well?
Yeah, I think so. He's coming, and a lot of the other senior members of staff who have been speaking to over the course of the last few weeks. There's a lot of people in new positions who have been incredibly grateful with their time and energy, and they're just. I'm amazed. It just feels obviously a completely different football club to what it was. They're really open and supportive of it, and I think it's that's what a football club should be, shouldn't it? It's about like what is the city representing and how do they represent it in the best possible way. So it's great. Yeah, I've got loads of great things to say about the senior people at the football club.
No, it's fantastic. You've got the support there, which helps you to drive, and it hopefully I'm pretty sure this is going to go really far for you.
Thanks.
Hopefully, I want to fly that black and white flag across the world with it.
Do it.
Yes, I love that. I just want to ask you one more thing before we'll let you go here. In terms of because I think we've all seen as Newcastle fans, it's been turbulent with the vaccines, but it was actually quite comforting for me to hear that the getting involved with projects like this, because I think in the past, I don't know how you feel about this, Jamie, but like Amanda's all like been the heart for a couple of years now, and I sort of feel like that's been ripped out along with mine when she left. So it was quite nice to actually hear you say that they're really interested to support what you're going to be doing for the stage show as well. So did you think that was a bit of a surprise to you?
It was about when he turned up, when I got a text saying he was coming to see it, I was shocked, and it was very surreal. And the club, Amanda and Murdad were like amazing, weren't they? Everything they've done with the club, but I think they've got really, really good people in place, and obviously don't know what has went on behind the scenes, and it's what's in the newspapers in the minute. I'm never going to ask that sort of question of people, but I feel everyone I've spoken to and dealt with the club, they handle everything with care, and I think their hearts are in the right place. So I feel like I've had a lot of people over the last few weeks, especially during the end of the transfer window, being like, make sure you tell your mates at the club to bloody get their finger out and all that. And so I've been like, I don't know. I'm just seeing a really positive, really glowing side of them.
Like a good vibe.
Yeah, it's a really good vibe, and I think that and all the work like the foundation do as well. The football club's in a really great space at the minute. It's really exciting with men's and the women's game. It's just it just feels, I know it feels a bit the last few weeks have felt a bit turbulent, but the good times are still coming. We can all still dream.
100%.
I'm being the optimist here. I think there's going to be a third promotion, and I think there's going to
I agree.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Oh, the women. Sorry. Yes, no, I don't agree. Jamie, come on. Don't agree with Sam, man.
Momentum in football is a very...
Yes, I love that. Well, Jamie, one more time. How long is the show on for? Where can we get tickets? How can we see the show?
Yep, so Jerry and Sue will a purely belter adventure. It's on at the Theatre Royal from the 2nd of October. Tickets can be booked from the Theatre Royal's website or their box office.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We really appreciate it. The comments have been really great and positive as well. So best of luck with it, and let's get it on the road and get it to London.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
All right then. Catch you later, Jamie. Bye.
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 Oh, that was really
Oh,
cool. Love
that was so cool. I loved the bit about Dan Burns and all that. Fancy Dan Burns being a bit of an actor.
Who knew?
I know.
I can't see it in a Star Wars adaptation as well. I can imagine the memes now. We need to make a meme about
definitely.
this, like 100%. Well, I tell you lot, thank you so much for joining us. The next game is Sunday. It's going to be the 22nd, Kingston Park, 2 p.m. against Sheffield United Women. 7th place last season, currently 9th, beat 2-1 by Durham and 1-0 by Charlton. So look out for that one. But a big thank you to our mods this evening. Thank you so much for your super chats. Thank you so much for your stickers, your interaction. Thank you for Jamie for joining us as well. Thanks to Aaron, if I haven't thanked you already, and Howie, the lasses. No, thanks to Sam. I love that.
And also, if you get the chance and you get yourself down to the game and you see me and Sam, because we'll both be there, don't be shy to come over and say hello.
Come back and check out the